Okay guys, so in this video we're going to be discussing how to perform a deadlift, a conventional deadlift, to the standard at which we want. So I'm going to be breaking down things like how we should be breathing, the movement pattern itself, your stance, your grip, all of the cool stuff so that you don't injure yourself basically. Now, with the deadlift, the first thing you want to be thinking about is the breathing and bracing. So if you haven't yet, go over to the big three and learn things like the McGill curl up, learn the side plank, learn the bird dog, just so you can understand how to breathe a full 360 through the torso and be able to brace correctly. So the whole time, whenever you perform a rep, you should have ticked off two boxes, which is breathing into the abdominal area, and then bracing as hard as you can. While the bar is moving, you brace the abdominals as hard as you can. The reason why is you protect this lower lumbar area. More often than not, people get lower back pain, from the deadlift because they're literally not bracing hard enough. So if you haven't yet, go to the big three and learn how to breathe and brace through the McGill curl up, the side plank, and the bird dog. But that is step number one, learning how to stand like so. Big air in, fill up, and then brace like someone's going to punch you in the guts. That's the first step there. You can take that either at the top or the bottom. I prefer at the top because I feel like because I'm standing upright, I can breathe like a full 360 expansion. I can get like just more air into my lungs, diaphragm. Right, think about breathing into my guts. So your next one is your stance. Now, more often than not, people for some reason take quite a wide stance. What I want you to do is very, very simple, very basic. You can stand like so. And what I want you to do is just jump in the air. And wherever you jump and land, that's going to be your starting position. The reason why is because, like, if I stand too wide, I can't generate as much force as if I stood with this stance here. My body's ability to generate the most force. To lift the weight, we have to put ourselves in the position where we can lift the most load and produce the most force through our levers and muscles, etc., so we can move the weight. So before you even think about walking up to the bar, find your position, like your stance, and all you've got to think about is just stand where you would jump from, land, and that's sort of around like the position that you can start with. And the next one, once you've learned how to breathe and brace, once you've learned what stance you're going to want to take for your deadlift, the next thing is find out where your shin position should be. Now, what a lot of people do is they walk up to the bar and they come down like so, and the bar, their shins push the barbell out because they're letting their knees come too far over their toes. So you want to start with your shins roughly around 1 inch from the barbell. So then as you bring your hips back, there's going to be a video on hip hinging which you should have already completed, but what you're going to do is you're going to bring your hips back, so we load our posterior chain, and from there we bring our hands down. As you can see, my shins are almost vertical. I'm going to show you here, just with this down. So my stance, and my shins are almost vertical. Now that ties straight into the grip position, so by now, bracing, knowing where your stance should be, and your shin should be about 1 inch from the bar so you don't push the bar forward. The next step is finding your grip. Now we'll start with over both overhands, or you can do it over and under. As the bar gets heavier, you lose your grip. For this video, I'm just going to show you the over and under. So I find my position, and what I want to do to start with is think about bringing your hand grip about your thumb's length from the outside of your shin. Just like so. So I'm standing here. What that gives us the ability to do, which is our next step, is keep our elbows locked and push the knees out into the forearm here, so that we can then load our glutes. Like the glutes perform external rotation. So when we've got this position here, the bar is just out in front of us. The grip is the thumb's length from our shins. We can then push the knees out into the elbows with our elbows straight to get a little bit more glute activation. So just to confirm there, shins about an inch away from the bar. Your hand grip, just to start with, should be about your thumb's length from the outside of your shin, and then you want to push your knees out into your forearm so you can get a little bit more glute activation. And the next one here is, again, the hip hinge pattern. You want to come back and you want to think about sitting into your hamstring. So what a lot of people do is they bend through their upper back and end up in this position. You see this rounding? That's where you're going to get your lower back pain from, as well as not bracing. So what we're looking for is, as we come down, we go hips back, and I think about really sitting into my hamstring, so I'm loaded from here all the way through to here. So I've got my glutes and my hamstrings ready, and then I'm going to pull my shoulder blades down into my back pockets. And that's going to bring the bar into my shins. So as we said before, the bar will start about an inch away from your shins. To bring it in, we are going to do here, we're going to hip hinge back, sitting into my hamstrings, and then watch as my shoulder, I'm going to pull the barbell is just going to be pulled into me, and that's going to engage my lats. So your lats are going to protect your lumbar, they're going to give you extra stability around the thoracic, and then from there you're basically set to be able to bring the bar up, or pull and push the bar up. So that leads us on to our next cue. Whenever you're looking to pull a deadlift, always think about push the floor away or push the world away and pull the bar at the same time. So you've got two opposite forces driving the bar up. So I'm going to do 2 reps quickly just to show you. So breathe in. I know my stance. My shins are about an inch away from the barbell. Hip hinge back. I'm going to pull my lats scaps down. I'm going to push the floor away and pull the bar off the floor. And that leads us on to our next cue, which is stand erect at the top. So we stand erect by, as soon as the bar gets to our knees, we essentially fuck the bar, drive your hips through, bang. You're gonna stand like so. And then finally, lower the weight to your starting position by hips back. You don't want to round through your back and bring it down, you end up in this position. You want to bring it back down, hips up, still sitting into my hamstrings, scaps are still down. I take my breath at the bottom and I go again. So I'm going to do 3 reps quickly just to show you what it wants to look like. But to tick your boxes, you're looking at breathing and bracing. You're looking at finding your stance. That's the main important too. Next one's the shins. Want to be about an inch away from the bar as you set up. Grip roughly around thumb's length from the shin itself. Elbows locked. Push your knees out into your forearms. Hinge from the hips. Scapulars or shoulder blades back and down. So you're just going to pull them back and down. Take the slack out of the bar by pulling on it. Really pull it in, try to bend the bar around you. Push the floor away while pulling the bar off the floor. Stand erect by, the cue is I use, it's fucking the bar, so really just drive those hips through and use your lats to keep it close. And then finally lower the weight down to its starting position so you can breathe again and brace. I'm going to show you a few. And that there is how we coach the deadlift. So do a couple of videos of your own, find out what works best for you, find your position, send the video to me and I can give you feedback.